Good afternoon, everybody. This is Amy from A Little Farm Quilts. I'm A Little Farm Quilts here on YouTube and on Instagram. Today is Tuesday. I believe it is June 8th. It is. It is noon, basically noon, 12:08 p.m. It's been a while since my last Flosstube. I tried to record this yesterday, and what happened was here in upstate New York yesterday, it was god-awful hot. Yeah, and I had this nice little sheen about me that just wasn't going away, and it was getting worse, not better. We've since cooled down a little bit. It was over, feels like temp yesterday of 93 with, I think the humidity was 78%. So pretty uncomfortable. And I'm sorry, every once in a while you're going to see a glare in my glasses from the lights because we have an overcast day today. So I needed to pull in some more lights. Today we're sitting, I think, at 77 degrees. Let's see what the Weather Channel says. Feels like 77. It is a little muggy in the house still. We're still at 81 in the house. I don't really want to turn on. We have climate control. We have geothermal heat and solar panels. And I don't really want to turn on the climate control until we absolutely have to. So we're kind of dealing with today with fans. So you see fan in the window there, right next to my stitchy spot. We are sitting in my upstairs sewing and crafting room. So you see my cube storage here, my stitchy chair back there. And when I get this, oh, sorry, I just knocked the camera. When I get this completely set up, which is not at the moment, I will give you a tour. So this channel today is going to be all about the cross stitch. Sometimes I include my quilting, sometimes I include my knitting. We have a little bit of life going on. My husband's in the next room having a meeting, so he could possibly walk in. This room, the door is open because we're not shutting doors today because we're trying to get airflow through the house. This is real life here in our household in the dog days of summer, which we shouldn't really be in yet, but we are at the moment. My sister and my nephew are here visiting from the West Coast. They have gone to visit my mom, so I had a few minutes and I thought I'd try to do a Flosstube. So here we are, I'm not even sure, almost 3 minutes in, and I've given you my little life update. We were able to, not only is please humor me for a minute, because I had something happen in my family that I don't know that has ever happened. My family has always been fragmented between the East Coast and the West Coast, and it's literal. Some of us live in New York State. Some of us live in the Pacific Northwest in Washington State. Some of those used to live in California. So they were literally up and down the West Coast. This Sunday, we celebrated my baby sister's 50th birthday party. And not only was my sister from the West Coast in with her son, but my cousin came in from the Pacific Northwest with his wife and children and grandbaby. So he was here, my uncle was here, my dad's brother was here, my mom was here, my uncle's ex-wife and her husband were here, and well as 3 of my 4 children. My one child lives in Louisiana, so to be fair, there was no way she was going to be able to make this, but they were here with my 2 of my grandkids. Yeah, and we had a great time. It was a great time. I'm trying to remember to look at the camera because I'm on a different computer yet again. So just kind of bear with me. And it's been a while, so I'm going to fumble through this, I'm sure. But we were able to have a really good time. All of us had a great time. It was good food. And we had good weather. I mean, it was hot, but it was better than being in torrential rain with family during a picnic. So it was great. The other thing of note here is that I'm on summer schedule at work, so I'm a professor of nursing and nursing instructor, however you want to call it, at a local nursing college. I am in the season where I take a ton of vacation, so I was off the week before Memorial Day, and then I went back Memorial Day week, worked 3 days, and now I'm off this week, and then I go back to work for I think like 3 weeks, and I'm off another 2 weeks, and then I'm off another week in August to go to Louisiana to see my other daughter and our other 2 grandbabies. So I'm in that season. The floss tubes during the summer may be more sporadic. They may not. They may be right on schedule. Who knows? I think you guys have all been around with me long enough to know that my life happens, and sometimes it's not as conducive to keeping up with my floss tube presence as normal. The other thing that happened was I've been struggling for, I want to say quite a while, at least the last 6 months, with headaches more than usual. I've mentioned it here on the Flosstube probably a couple of times. I thought it was the stress of, I started a new job last September. I'm teaching, which is something I've not done in the past. The stress of that, I thought it was it. But it started to affect my stitching. And when I say that it started to affect my stitching, like I couldn't always see my stitching. I was starting to need magnification on counts that I don't normally need magnification on. So last Friday, I went to the eye doctor to have my vision checked again. And what happened was basically they covered my left eye completely with my glasses on and had me try to read with my right eye, the wall chart, and I couldn't read any of it with my right eye. So long story short, through a course of a lot of examination and a lot of looking into what was going on, the glasses that I'm currently wearing, the right bifocal's wasn't put in the right place. So my right eye's been straining all this time. So I've had these glasses for 2 years and gradually getting worse because of all the straining. So thankfully now I can fix that. So I have another pair of glasses on order with an engineered progressive lens to help me with my stitching specifically, because we all know, that's a priority. And I am anxiously awaiting for them to come in and see what I can see when I get them. So I'm looking forward to that. If you watched, sorry, that was my chair. Sorry, if you watched my video going into May, my plan for May, you gotta laugh, right? My plan for May was that I was going to work on my mushroom and fern mandala every week, Monday through Friday, and I was going to catch up on my Whip Go whips on the weekends. I did work on some of my Whip Go whips to meet some of those goals. I don't think I worked on the mushroom and fern chatelaine mandala by Chatelaine maybe twice the whole month. So I knew when I made plans that was going to be a crapshoot, because the first half of May I was clinical lead for the college for our second semester nursing students, and I was extremely busy. I knew that making plans was good to make plans. However, I also knew the first 16 to 18 days were going to be pretty intense at work. And I true to what I thought was going to happen in that time frame, I barely stitched a thing. And even the week after that, going into, my son's birthday was the 21st. Going into that, I hardly stitched at all, because I was trying to wrap up the semester and get things tied up with a bow. So, yeah, that being said, I did make progress, but it didn't look anything like what I thought it was going to look like. And mainly because, I'm just going to be honest, so some of these whips I stitch in hand, some of them I need a hoop. It really depends on the fabric, the count, and the floss. So some I stitch in hand, some I need a hoop, and the chatelaine is on this big frame. And I will show it to you because I have a little bit of progress, but the big frame, although I love it to do chatelaines on because I can do back stitching, beading, and everything as I go, it's not portable. So if I'm really busy and the only stitching time I'm getting in my car or at lunch at work, it's not going to be the mushroom and fern chatelaine. And a lot of times that was my only stitching that I got done in a day. So I just want to leave you with that. I do have lots of progress to show you. I do have some plans for June. However, I'm probably going to be just as much as a seaweed stitch what I want when I want. But I have set myself some goals, and I'm going to continue to try to fill in my whip go goals and meet them. So let's start with my whips. I also have some stash acquisition. I like that term. I think Brenda from Hamwork Maniac must know. Who uses the stash acquisition? There's a couple. I like that word. Or stash enhancement. I think Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow Quilts uses that. I have a little bit of that. Mostly patterns, I believe. I've got stuff all over around here. Mostly, yes, all patterns. Because honestly, I don't need to buy anything else. Although I had a fabric. I wonder if that's here. Oh, that's here too. I belong to the Bee Stitch Me Fabric of the Month now, which is new to me. And I got my first piece, so I'm excited about that. So I'm going to keep drinking because it's still muggy and warm here and I don't want to get dehydrated. So let's start with my 30-minute most mornings coffee stitch. And you're going to have to bear with me because I don't have anything out or ironed. I just grabbed all the bags and popped them in here so that I could hopefully put together a Flosstube today. And like I said, I tried to do this yesterday and kind of gave up. But my every morning coffee stitch, almost every morning, I am not going to say I do this every morning anymore. I did it every morning straight from January 1st until very recently. And now it's probably 4 to 5 mornings out of 7 I stitch on this with my coffee. But this is Lost No More. Let's see, it's hard for me to tell if you have a glare because I got a glare on my computer screen, so just kind of bear with me. Lost No More, it's a gold collections kit. I started this back in the 90s and it went away in a storage box forever, and I pulled it back out when I got back into cross stitch and then didn't work on it again, worked on a ton of other stuff, and now I've decided that it just needs to come out and get done. And this is where I am. So I'm not quite halfway. I did have plans to try to get this done this year. I just don't know if it's going to happen. It's a lot more stitches than you think. But I'm doing the back stitching as I go along. I have some of the back stitching done around Jesus' head. And I'll do the staff and stuff before I move down. And right now I'm just trying to catch up this side down in here, get some of these trees in, and then I'm going to move on. But I'm happy with the progress I'm making with that, and we're just going to keep going. And so that's my morning coffee stitch. Sometimes I pick it up later in the day, sometimes I don't. It just really depends, you know, what I'm in the mood for that day. That being said, that's a full coverage piece, and we can count them later when I show them to you, but I did go into a frantic starting frenzy, and I think I must have started maybe 5 full coverage pieces. So yeah. Alright, so one of the other Whip Go goals I had to catch up on. Did I bring it in? I know I brought it in. I had to have brought it in. Oh, I bet I left it out there. Hold on. We're going to see if I can splice these together later. Hold on.